Welcome to Letters from America, a road trip podcast searching for the Swedish heritage in the USA. I'm your host, Martin Wern, and today I've parked the Volvo at the Swedish Church in Florida. And with me in the Airstream is Pierre Schelander, who is a flying priest. That's what you told me.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
It means that I live here in Florida with my wife, my son, but every second or third month I visit the Swedish Church abroad's parishes in South America.
So
yes.
your base is Miami, which we are. Yeah.
So I live here. Actually, when I applied for the job, I wanted to convince the board of Swedish Church abroad to put me in a South American country.
Yeah.
But I couldn't convince them. They wanted me here because, as they said, you need a colleague, you need an everyday life together with others. And
so they were worried that you might sort of end up in some sort of solitude, despair.
Exactly.
But South America is a huge place. So where in South America do you go?
Yeah, it's a huge continent, of course. So I go to Argentina, to Buenos Aires, and Brazil, Sao Paulo. But I also travel to other countries every now and then, but frequently more to Argentina and Sao Paulo because they have history there.
But are there Swedish communities there, or are you preaching for the Argentinians or for the Swedes?
No, I'm there for the Swedish communities. And if we talk about Buenos Aires, for example, they had a quite big community in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Also in Sao Paulo. Today, the communities are smaller and they don't have the finance. They can't afford to have a pastor there to live and work there every day. So I travel there and I'm there 5 to 6 times a year and I stay for a week, 2 weeks.
Is there a Swedish church that you visit, or is it in any congregation or a community? Or?
Yes, so actually when it comes to Argentina it's quite interesting because not many people know this. 1892 or so, there were 5,000 Swedish people
in Argentina, in Buenos Aires,
coming from Sweden to southern part of Brazil.
Okay.
And they lived there for a couple of years, and then half or a third of the group went into Argentina and settled down in the northern part of Argentina. And after a while, the Archbishop of Sweden flew out the first Swedish priest for that community.
Okay.
And so in Argentina, the Swedish Church have been in Argentina since 1912. Quite some time.
Quite some time. Do you also do work here in the Swedish Church here?
Yeah, so the Swedish Church in Florida isn't that old as the Swedish Church in Argentina. We've been in Florida since 2009. And
that's not too long.
No. And there's a vicar here. He works full-time for the Swedish communities in Florida. And I'm assisting him. So I'm his sidekick.
Sidekick priest.
Yeah.
A flying sidekick priest.
Yeah. So you can say I work 40-50% for the congregation here, and the other part I'm traveling to South America.
Can we just sort that out? Because I think I got it right, but the Swedish Church is a Protestant church.
Yes.
Right? In America, there's a lot of Protestants, but also a lot of Catholics and other religions. But when it comes to the Christian faith, there. But in South America, I would say that that's a majority of Catholics.
Yes.
Is that something that needs to be in consideration, or is there a conflict still between this? Or?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. First, I would like to say that America, the biggest church in America is the Roman Catholic Church.
All right.
And that's also the case in South America. Here, there's larger groups of evangelicals, like, for example, Lutherans, Episcopalians, Methodists, Baptists, Pentecostals, Salvation Army, etc.
But I would say that is a heritage from escaping actually the church that you represent, in a way.
What do you mean by escaping?
Escaping. A lot of people historically left Scandinavia and Sweden because of the Swedish Church, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
I'm not, blaming anyone, but that's a historical fact, really.
Yeah, but another historical fact is also that the Swedish immigrants in America, they formed, how do I say this? They formed a synod, a Lutheran synod, a smaller Lutheran church in America. That synod was called the Synod Augustana.
What is a synod?
That's a small church group, a small denomination, a small church with the pastors and leaders and so. So, for example, here in America, the biggest denomination, Lutheran denomination in America, is called ELCA. Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. Before, there were a lot of small synods, and they all merged and became ELCA. And when we talk about this small Swedish synod that was founded by Swedish immigrants, they have actually influenced ELCA a lot when it comes to theology, worship, liturgy, issues, social justice, questions like that. Some people may have had some bad experiences and escaped, as you say.
But that was
others.
Yeah. No, but sorry, but that when that happened, church and state in Sweden, as in all countries, were united. That was the same force. And if you had a different view, in other countries, even more horrific consequences could happen. But in Sweden, you got persecuted if you didn't apply to the sort of governmental church.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sure, absolutely.
And that I don't know what you call that here, but in Sweden we would say like free churches. Yeah,
yes.
And a lot of them escaped and brought that faith with them here and created small congregations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that you can see in your everyday life, or?
I don't see it here, but I can see it in South America. We have it here in America as well, I think. I mentioned earlier about the Swedish immigrants that came to Brazil. In the part of that group that came to Argentina, they were Lutherans, but the Swedish that stayed in Brazil, they were Baptists. So they had a Baptist church. So, yeah.
What is since you have almost one foot in three places, you told me you've been here for, what was it, 2 years now?
Yes, 2 years.
So that's a long time, but it's relatively new. So you have, and you worked as a priest in Sweden, I assume. Yeah. And now you're here, and also in South America, in Argentina and Brazil. could you sort of sum up the differences as a priest?
Wow.
If we're starting with Sweden and America, or America, I mean in United States.
So I would say that to be a priest here and to be a priest in Sweden, I do the same things. I have baptism, I have funerals, I celebrate the mass, weddings, I meet with people, counseling, Bible study groups, etc. So that's the same, but I would say that the Swedish people, I see them as spiritual. Most of the Swedes, they don't have the language for it, the vocabulary, but they have spiritual experiences. They feel a cosmic presence or a divine moment in the forest or in the lake or whatever, in the nature. Here, I found the Americans more to have a language for the spiritual thoughts.
For God,
yes.
For the presence of God.
So that's a big difference, I would say. Many times the reactions here is, "Oh, so you're a pastor? Oh, so you know a lot about the Bible, and please can you share something with me?" or things like that. That reaction, it's not that common in Sweden.
I would say, in my experience, I'm also a part of a generation I remember when church and state got separated. I remember spending Sundays in church in the village where I grew up. I got Sunday school. My mother was very involved in the local church community, so I remember all of that. And there's almost an embarrassment of speaking about God. So you rather say, "I believe in something bigger than me," or "I believe in there's something out there," and you still want to get married in church, but you don't really want the priest to speak so much about God. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I would say.
And you want your son or daughter to be baptized, but maybe not so much from the Bible. Could we speak
more of a family tradition?
More of a family tradition. Yeah. And I think that the presence of a God is built in those people, but like you said, maybe not finding the right words, but also admitting it or stepping fully into it is a bit of a obstacle in today's. You're supposed to be rational. You're supposed to believe in science. You're supposed to do all of those things. You don't. It's hard to find a way to combine it. Am I?
Yeah.
Is that something that you can?
I can relate to that absolutely. I think. For example, one thing that happens here almost every week. I'm at the gas station, fueling up my car, and there's a guy there, and he said, "Oh, Father." That means
because you have your clothes on.
Yeah. And he said, "Father," that means he's a Catholic. If he said, "Oh, hi, Pastor," he's an evangelical. So, hey, Father, can you pray a healing prayer with me? I'm
just there
I'm
at
sick.
the gas station.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I put my hands on him and I pray, or I don't know. I play tennis. At the tennis court, that can happen. Hey, Pastor, can you? I'm applying for a job. Can you quick prayer? I'm a bit nervous.
But you're not playing tennis in your robe.
No, but I don't
people know.
Yeah, if they know. I mean, I play at the same court every week, so they know I'm.
And that you mean that's a typical American behavior?
Yeah.
To be sort of outwards on that.
And maybe it's the Swedes. Maybe it's also about lack of confidence. They are not comfortable to talk.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
They're not comfortable to even say the word God, and they want to say, if you ask them, do you believe in God? Well, not really, but there's something out there.
Yeah, Well, I think right now we see something in Sweden that I haven't seen during my childhood and when I was growing up. There's a lot of young people now in Sweden that are coming to church. The Roman Catholic Church in Sweden are growing. The Orthodox faith in Sweden grows. More people are converting. There are huge
Converting from
from atheism or from something secular, some secular life or whatever. We see a lot of youth groups in the Church of Sweden today, larger groups of young people seeking out, seeking God, seeking the church. So I think those things. I think
you see that is growing.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that your observation?
It's what I hear from my colleagues back in Sweden, that they have full confirmation groups, youth groups, and if all what they say is true, that's something wonderful, because I haven't seen it before in Sweden.
When I talked about the difference earlier, or asked about the differences, I think that was what I was sort of aiming at, that for you it must be coming here, meeting a more free-speaking parish. That must be like this. Maybe sorry, I apologize, but you know, like almost like a musician coming to a stage where the crowd knows the songs and sing along. While in Sweden, you're playing for a crowd and they like your music, but they don't really clap. Right? Is that?
Yeah. Well, the Swedish people are interesting in many ways. When it comes to the congregation here in Florida, many of the people, the church members here, they weren't churchgoers in Sweden when they lived in Sweden, but they are now. And I think this culture, this country, have shown them that religion it's okay and it's important also. Another thing is that Swedes living here, they put a lot of value to the Swedish holidays like Valborg, Lucia, Midsummer, and many times the Swedish Church offers those get-togethers.
Oh yeah, but isn't that a typical, I would say, expat function, that as soon as you leave your country or your motherland,
yeah, probably,
your holidays, your community gets more important. While in Sweden maybe it's Christmas again, but here it's like super, or midsummer. Or,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
true.
Where does God fit in all of this for you, in all of that you do?
On a personal level, I see and I feel His presence, I would say, on a weekly basis at least. Maybe not on a daily basis, but I am certain and that God is with me. For example, when I travel to South America, I always dress up as a clergyman with my white collar. And every trip, there are people approaching me, and they want to confess their sins, or they want to have a chat. They are concerned about something and they want to speak to me about that. For example, just before Christmas, it was a funny story actually, because I had a week in Buenos Aires and then I took a flight to Sao Paulo, Brazil. It was a bumpy flight, really bumpy. And there were a lot of screams, a lot of Jesus in the airplane. And none of us were comfortable with that bumpy flight. So when we arrived, waiting for our bags at the airport, people were talking with each other from that flight, from that plane, about how awful it was. And I was walking, and one of those small groups, one lady said, hey Father, thanks for being there for us in the plane. I didn't see her on the plane. I didn't do nothing. But I think that this color made her in that moment feel safe somehow.
It's a presence.
Yeah. So I think my work has some sort of means something to people.
Well, of course it does. Would you be offended if I said that's maybe your work, to be present?
No, I wouldn't be offended. I mean,
as a character symbolizing something that give people with that fate a reminder of the presence.
Yeah, that's what the color is about. To have those clergy vestments or clothes on, to in the society, in the everyday life, somehow represent something higher, represent God. And if I could be an instrument, if God could use me in that airplane to get some comfort to a very scared lady in the plane.
Just by being there.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. But it comes with responsibility also. And not everyone have good experiences of the clergy. I was walking in Buenos Aires one day, and there was a man screaming at me and gave me a punch, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the stomach. And I said, I just said, please back off and go. And there were a lot of people there, and they saw it, and he backed off and went. But, I mean, some people have good experiences, and some people have bad experiences, of course. But
did you get a notion of where his anger came from? Or?
No, I don't know. But I know that people have bad experiences from the past.
Yeah, but you can't hit people in the stomach.
No, you're not allowed to do that, of course. So, but I try to be myself, and so.
Yeah. I want to ask you about the map that I have here on the table. It's a map of the world. I'm going to move around a little stuff here. You got United States here, and you got Sweden over here. We are down here on the Florida heel or toe. You're from
southern part of Sweden.
Southern part of Sweden.
So I'm from the town of IKEA, actually.
Oh, which is
Älmhult.
Älmhult, yes. Yeah, I knew that.
But my 8-year-old son, he grew up in Lund, so Lund is
so you're
one
a
of those
southerner,
places. Yeah.
Part of Denmark, as we would say.
Yes.
If you look at this map, you southern Sweden, Florida for 2 years, in Brazil, which is down here, Argentina, and a few other countries in South America. Where do you feel at home? Where is home for you on this?
I lived in Peru when I was around 25 years old. I was living there 4 years with my wife. She's half Peruvian. I got married there. I have a lot of friends there. So I feel southern part of Sweden and Peru.
Okay.
But
if you have to pick one. I want you to write your signature on the place that you can say, it can change for the future, but now, where do you feel at home now?
Oh, it's tricky because I have been here 2 years. My son is Americanized already. He has his whole life here. I mean, he lived in Sweden for 6 years, but those last 2 years in America, I mean, he has his friends, his soccer practice, his everything. So I would actually say Florida right now.
Okay, please. And if you were to write a letter from Florida to Älmhult in Sweden, where you grew up,
I will say, I will write a short message. I will say, all is well. I haven't forgot you. I still visiting IKEA every week because it's 10 minutes from here, and I'm actually there quite a lot.
All right. Still moving in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pleasure speaking to you. I'm very happy that you came. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have listened to Letters from America, a weekly road trip podcast celebrating the Swedish heritage in the United States. Produced in collaboration with the Embassy of Sweden in Washington, D.C., Volvo Cars USA, Volvo Trucks USA, and Airstream.